Make sure to subscribe to Apillow on YouTube. Very cool content creator.
Okay, people. Let's talk a little bit about change. So, I don't know what to cover today, so I was going through my bookmarks as I usually do because there are saved things that I might want to cover, and I rediscovered this little thing that I saved. It is a tweet from iDubbbz saying, trust me, it wasn't on my bingo card either, and it's him next to Tana Mojo in 2017 when he did the infamous say blank thing. That was a massive thing back then, and next to it is an image from this year, 2023, of iDubbbz and Tana Mojo standing on stage together, smiling and genuinely having a good time. And this is something that I wanna talk about today, because I do legitimately think that change is one of the most important things to hold up and praise whenever it happens. So, when it comes down to what happened with iDubbbz, this of course was fairly public. He made an apology about the way that he conducted himself in the past a couple of months ago. I don't believe I covered it on this channel, if I'm remembering correctly. I don't believe I covered it. But there was a lot of discourse around that, both with people talking about how the damage that iDubbbz caused to people who were growing up at the time in school with people who were fans of iDubbbz, basically just him talking about the things that he did. And one of the things that he also pointed out in that video is that he had a fan come up to him during, I believe it was a public event, and a trans fan, and said, you know, I know that you probably don't like trans people, but can I take a picture with you? And of course he was horrified by that, because what he had essentially, I mean, he had realized before, but really with interactions with this, he had, realized that what he had put out into the world before with his content, even if he thinks that he was largely in the right with the people that he covered and criticized, the way that he did it caused some harm. It normalized some things in the minds of people who watched him that maybe shouldn't have been normalized, and he sincerely apologized for that. And the responses that I saw to that were one and two. Well, really three major responses. There were people who said, you know what, I'm glad that you're apologizing for everything you did in the past. I'm glad that you're moving forward. Glad that you've changed. And I also saw people who were not really necessarily in belief or not willing to forgive him for the things that he did, which is fine. You don't have to forgive everyone for the things that they did in the past. But saw people who were unwilling to forgive him. And then I saw people like this who were, of course, not very happy that their favorite from the past had moved away, transitioned away, if you will, from creating the kind of content that he did, from doing the kind of edginess that he did. And the main reason why I really want to talk about this is that recently I saw a little bit of discourse going on about people who had past phases where they had bad political beliefs and, the willingness of people to forgive and engage with people who operated like that. And of course, I'm coming to you, I've been very transparent about this, but I'm coming to you from the position as someone who did have pretty bad political beliefs when I was a little younger due to falling down the alt-right pipeline when I was a kid. I think that forgiveness is one of the best compliments to change. Because at the end of the day, even if you don't necessarily think that iDubbbz is deserving of forgiveness for what he did, or even other people are deserving of forgiveness for what they did, it is a benefit to encourage people to change. Which is why, even though when iDubbbz did first come out with his video on what he did in the past, I wasn't necessarily fully, I'm going to be 100% honest, I wasn't necessarily fully on the, you're completely perfectly fine train. Because I did see what happened in middle school based on people who watched iDubbbz. I heard the words flying around, etc., etc., etc. And, that kind of thing does affect people growing up. None of it was ever directed towards me, if I'm remembering correctly. But that kind of thing does reflect pretty heavily on who someone was as a content creator. But, coming back across this tweet, I just thought to myself, at the end of the day, I think he's fine. I think he's fine. I rewatched the video and thought to myself, he's willing to acknowledge what he did wrong in the past, and he's more than remorseful for it. And if I'm being honest, I think that in of itself is deserving of forgiveness. I do think change is a good thing. I think it's something that we should encourage in people, and it's something that I'm glad that iDubbbz was able to do in moving his content away from what he used to do, in making it very clear that he wants to distance himself from his old audience, which we're going to get into in a second, and in making it clear that he doesn't stand by what he did in the past. And that's something that I do appreciate, because being able to admit fault like that and grow and change like that is extremely admirable. Extremely admirable. And I'm glad that he was able to do it, and I'm glad that he is able to stand up on stage with people like Tana Mojo and be on good terms with them. And that moves us over to the old fans. Whenever you change, people aren't going to be particularly happy about that, especially if you're changing from someone who used to be a bit more edgy, things of that nature. You garner a lot of people in your audience who don't like it when you do try to make that switch, when you do try to decide to say, I messed up in the past, I want to move forward, I want to be better, I don't want to do this anymore. There will undoubtedly be people who look at that and react to that negatively and call you a sellout or say that you went woke and etc., etc., etc. And I don't think that you should be paying attention to those people. Those people have been in iDubbbz comments for years now, claiming that, what he did in the past was based and cool, and he's no longer cool. He's no longer of the Gorm because of the way that he switched. There's this tweet here that says, I think the problem with iDubbbz is that he has become everything he used to speak out against. Real fans don't care about any beef with Sam, and we don't care that he's becoming a better person. We're just disappointed to see that Ian has resorted to pandering and people-pleasing. I don't know who Sam is, so I'm not going to comment too much on that. But this kind of sentiment here, that iDubbbz is pandering for wanting to change himself for the better, is weak. You shouldn't allow yourself to be held back. And this is even going off of content creation. When you do want to make a change, when you realize that you've had bad beliefs or you associate with bad people, one of the first things that you could do to help solve that and rectify that is to stop associating with them. Because it is something that you sometimes have to do to change. You do sometimes have to stop interacting with people to change, to have the room to change. It's almost like spring cleaning. You clean out the old dust bunnies that you may have used to like, but you realize aren't all that good for you now. And you move on to a new place. You move on to a new understanding of yourself and a new way that you relate to other people in the world and treat other people. And that's something that's harder to do as a content creator, because you can't choose your audience chooses you. I mean, you can choose your audience through the way that you make your content, but, you know, once they're there, and it's difficult to switch. But in real life, you can make those changes whenever, as long as it's safe. So, again, through everyone saying, oh, iDubbbz is fake, or, oh, iDubbbz is, you know, still in the wrong for what he did, you know, all of that aside, one of the things that is notable to me, and this is the last thing I'm going to cover on, one of the things that's notable to me is just seeing the way that he himself, and I'm using him as an example, but the way that he carries himself now and interacts with other people, he's a lot more of a positive force. And I mean, I'm assuming if he's doing it, he's happy for doing it, so he's probably a lot happier. Your want to change should come from two places: a want to improve yourself and a wish to do better by others. It's something that he had, it's something that he's doing, and it's something that he's doing quite well. And anyone can do it, and I encourage anyone to do it. Because at the end of the day, changing for the better is one of the unique things that humans can do. We can sit down, we can think through what we've done in the past, our mistakes, our transgressions, the harm that we've caused, and we can decide to move past that. We can decide to be better. And I think that's beautiful. And I think it's something that everyone should do. But enough of all of that and the feel-goodness. To the viewers out there, you got this. You got a big change you want to make in 2024? I have a big change I want to make in 2024. And it's about to start. But if you have a big change that you want to make, now's the time to do it. It's the end of the year. And, well, no better time than a new year for a new beginning. Just don't think of it as a New Year's resolution, because you will break it. But set a goal. Now's the time. With that being said, if you like this video, make sure to like, subscribe, hit the bell icon. You can also join the Discord link down below, and you can follow me on Twitter, link down below as well. I love you all. Stay safe out there, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace. Gotta hit the stop recording button.